Squished bread, broken eggs, and shampoo on your cold beef sounds like a series of unfortunate events. And unless you're the type to carry your groceries home without a bag, I'm sure we can all relate to the experience of packing our groceries. I worked as a cashier at a grocery store for the entirety of last summer, and I was shocked by the amount of customers that did not know how to properly pack a grocery bag. Obviously, there's no strict rules in doing so, but there are ways to make packing more effective and safe. So today I will be demonstrating the best strategies for packing your grocery bag. And hopefully by the end, you'll understand the importance of grouping, layering, and weight distribution in order to optimize your bagging experience. So first of all, it all starts on the conveyor belt. And according to the article, The Best Way to Bag Groceries, written in 2018 by Insider, it's important that all like items be bagged together. So some general groupings for this are perishables, cold products, meats, and non-perishables, or stuff that can be considered dry goods. So first of all, we have perishables. These are fruits and vegetables, things that are super delicate and can expire easily. They expire very quickly, like within the week. So it's important to keep these together because they can be easily contaminated. And also, as I said before, they are delicate. So if they're placed together, it's less likely for them to be damaged. Then we have the cold products. So these are things that you will put in your refrigerator or freezer once you get home. It's best that they be packaged together because it preserves their temperature, making it less likely for them to melt or become kind of mushy and soggy on the way home. If you learn nothing else, please remember to bag meats separate from everything else. They have a lot of bacteria and it's easy for them to be cross-contaminated. So within the bag of meats itself, it's best also if you put the meat within a little plastic bag to just keep it extra separated. Also, keeping the cold meats together maintains the temperature and makes it safer to eat later on. We don't want warm meat. That's just a catastrophe waiting to happen. Lastly, we have our non-perishables or dry goods. So these are things that will not really expire anytime soon, canned goods, cereals, just regular boxes. It also has toiletries involved or like household products. I will put a warning with these because they can spill easily. So similar to kind of the meat strategy, maybe putting them in a little plastic bag separate from the other things would be a smart move as well, just to prevent that type of spillage. When it comes to the golden rule of bagging itself, it's best to put the heavier items on the bottom and the lighter items on the top. So in the article, How to Pack a Grocery Bag, written by the Order Expert in 2012, the author recommends packing in layers. So we have a nice little grocery bag here. There's 3 layers. So the bottom layer would be here, middle layer, top layer. So that's how we're going to be talking about it today. The lower layer should have the heaviest items involved. So this includes, the canned goods, kind of basically non-perishable stuff that's not super fragile and kind of heavy, because those are less likely to be damaged under pressure from the other products that we're going to place on top of it. Then we have the middle layer. So these are mid-weight items such as like small jars. This would kind of be considered a mid-weight item, some sort of small toiletry and small household goods. Some hard produce such as, bananas, apples, stuff of that sort that aren't super fragile. They can be placed in this category as well. Then we have the last layer, which is where I see the most error. This should be the lightest layer on the very top. This includes, most importantly, bread and eggs. I have seen so much squished bread and broken eggs in my day of being a cashier. It was ridiculous. So basically, eggs always on top, especially in these kind of cardboard packaging. They're super unprotected and not safe, so they're easy to break and stuff of that sort. Bread can be placed on top of eggs, I will say, because it's just very unlikely that the bread will be heavy enough to cause any sort of damage. And it could also technically protect it if something were to fall. The light layer could also include cookies, things that are delicate, because we don't want them to break under pressure. So that concludes the layering process. We want, heavy, mid-weight, and lightest objects on the top. So alongside the weight suggestions for each layer, it's important to keep the overall weight of the bag in mind as well. According to a blog post entitled Packing the Grocery Bag is Not Rocket Science by Nathan Timmel in 2015, he suggests packing the grocery bag to capacity, but not to the point where it's unbearable to hold. You want to keep yourself in mind with this as well. You don't want to overpack the grocery bag to the point where you can't hold it effectively because, first of all, inconvenient. Second of all, it can be harmful to your body. You don't want to do that to yourself and hurt your back or strain any sort of body part in carrying groceries. You can use separate bags and you can pack more strategically to make sure the weight is not too much for you to carry. Aside from that, keeping the material of the bag in mind as well is super important. So this is a reusable bag. These are pretty safe bets. They're not really likely to break. But paper and plastic bags, especially paper bags, those are where the most risk is involved, especially if it's way too heavy, because the bottom of paper bags is kind of glued. It's not glued well. So heavy objects such as cans, if the bag is too heavy, it might break, and then you have to start this whole process over again. So just keeping those types of things in mind when packing, making sure that it's not overweight for the type of bag you're using and for yourself is important to not, strain yourself in this experience. So keeping all of these factors in mind will help you maintain the most effective strategy when bagging your groceries. While there is no specific way to do so, there are ways to make it more effective and safe, keeping it safe. Understanding the importance of grouping, layering, and weight distribution will help you keep your groceries protected and manageable. And I know that it may seem like a lot of work for such a simple task. You have to remember that baggers can't be choosers. Thank you.